So Jules and I wrote the score from scratch on this one, and we wrote some very, very nice songs, I thought.
Why, if Snow Miser doesn't freeze him just for the fun of it, his devil of a brother will put the heat on him for sure.
And of course, this is where the misers came from.
I'm Mr. Snow. I'm Mr. Green Christmas. I'm Mr. Sun.
It's the Heat Miser and Snow Miser songs that have made it so popular. I think the songs first are the reason why the show has lasted.
To me, as an actor, because that's basically what we do in animation, we act through these characters. It's a good role. It's a good role to play.
I guess I tried to write a tune that fit this little braggart and rascal of a guy.
He's Mr. White Christmas, he's Mr. Snow.
The Heat Miser is essentially the same thing. His hair is kind of a abstract flame.
The two Miser brothers were wonderful.
Don't just stand there, you fools. They're part of that Santa Claus gang of goody-goodies.
Exist in the memory of everyone who sees the film.
Boy, do I have a surprise for you.
Greetings, everyone. Talk Hard Tuesday is here. Hope you're doing well out there. It is a fun Christmas time. We will do some Christmas shenanigans indeed. It is going to be a good one indeed. Year without the Santa Claus. It's just crazy. I watch this every year, but it is this lady's favorite, SQUEEKA. Mouse, thank you for picking this, and good to see you.
Yes, it's got a sequel too, which in my opinion is just as good. Just as
awesome.
Good.
That's great. It's such a fun thing, and I want to get a couple clips from multiple interviews that have been done over the years with the creative teams and some of the behind the scenes stuff that's out there, folks. If this is your jam, you can go down that rabbit hole by searching for a few of the creators' names and interviews that date back literally decades. So it's kind of a fun stuff. But yeah, SQUEEKA, I tell you what, it was so fun revisiting the film from a more critical eye rather than just like letting me just sit back and have it on again. Let's just listen to the lyrics and think more about the characters. Let's just dive a little deeper. So it'll be fun to talk about that a little bit for sure.
See, I haven't watched any of that stuff just because I watch it every year and I just love it for I just love it. I mean, that's cool stuff, but at the same time, I'm like, I just love my film.
That's awesome. That's great. Well, man that loves his film. He is here every week. He is holding down the bedrock of Talk Hard indeed. IRONCASTER, brother. What is going on?
Oh, I thought I'd show up, kind of for in the spirit of things. I hope you don't think that I'm too much.
Oh, you're never too much, brother. You are never too much. Chat might be too much sometimes. Chat, we have to keep you here to keep chat. But no, you were here, bearded one, my friend. It's great to see you rocking the snow and the cap. You're doing your part. I love it so much.
I've even got my little Christmas sweater on.
We need to make a Sharkmeister song.
Sharkmeister.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that seems like an AI gem right there. Sharkmeister, indeed.
Well,
all right.
You know, last year someone went and did Crack Miser.
Why does that not shock me?
Well, yeah. Well, Shark Miser's been written down. We'll see what we can do there. So, with us back again, one of our favorites, one of my biggest supporters and friends in all of this, Joker Voice, my brother. Thanks for hanging out with us, man.
Thank you. Hello. It's always fun to be here. And to all of you lovely people out there, Merry Christmas and bah humbug and all that good stuff.
Well, it's great to have him in the house. we are doing our part here to try to stay as merry as we possibly can. YouTube lets us give away some memberships, so we did that at the start of the show. So Jana, Copa, Connie, Nerdy Neo, and Anima were now members. So thanks for that.
Ooh,
Great
nice.
to be able to bond with you folks, get to share some more stuff behind the scenes and do a little bit more of that. So great to see everybody there. Anima's here. Pop Culture Minefield's here. Obviously, everyone's saying hello to everyone. And then this crazy lady, again this week, 5 more memberships. She is just insane. I love you so much, girl. You're so sweet and generous. Shellback, Sean, Kathy, Mark, and Janet are also members. So again, SQUEEKA, thank you so much for your generosity as well. So Beard is here. Great to see Beard. Let's see. Christian's coming in. Oh man, Christian, great to see you, brother. You got to hit me up on messages and stuff. Man, I have no way of sort of like communicating with you because I don't think you're on Twitter. But Christian has been one of my supporters in all of this. I love his work. Lots of music. If you're into some classic rock and stuff like that, man, Christian has a great channel, some great commentaries on some stuff they do, some shows that's been on that over the years. But yeah, man, good to see you, man. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. You see everybody out there. Oh, man, look, there's Chuck. Hey, man, how you doing, man? A true classic indeed. Indeed it is. Indeed it is. Captain Fandom Nerd popping in. Hey there. Hey there, brother. Hope you're doing well, Cap. Great to see you. So, all right. So Joker's about my age, so we can probably go back to sort of like when we saw this, when it was like we were children. So, but let me start with you, Ironcaster. Was this like a staple when you were a kid, or is this something that you kind of came along later on?
Oh, this was absolutely one of those staples you had to watch every year. Like this and all the other Rankin Bass, stop motion films. Like they were part of the yearly tradition. It was like every time, October would roll around, so we would get to see Nightmare Before Christmas, but that was sort of the prelude to getting to go see Santa Claus. You get to see, Rudolph and Frosty and the Miser Brothers, like all these iconic little characters that have just become so much part of the holiday and sort of the culture.
I agree. Slasher Fred is here, and yes, this is such a great point to this movie. Unlike most movies that say cheery and whatever, this is one of those for kids who were like, hey, it's not always smooth sailing. Even Santa is like, maybe I should just, hang it up, man. Hey, I should just step aside. And, I'm getting tired. I'm getting sick. I fail sometimes. So, yeah, Fred, this is really one of the themes of this one that I to me, always kind of makes it stand out. SQUEEKA, what for you, though? What is it that drew you to this? Why is this one so much better for you personally?
Well, a lot of it was just the message. Like, it didn't start out all lollipops and rainbows. And I know too, like Rudolph's story may not start that way, and it has its ups and downs. But first off, I love the Heat Miser and the Snow Miser. I just love them. But it was just the storyline of it, and two, like being a Texas girl and having the whole, Southtown USA never gets snow. I wished for snow every Christmas. I swear I wrote Santa a letter for snow every Christmas. It's just appealed to me in so many different ways and so many different pieces that it's just my favorite. And I mean, there's that, and I liked to. There's some issues. Some people have issues with like the girl in the middle where she's got the blue Christmas song. But to me, even that, it like shows that sense of, hey, sometimes people rely on you that you don't know are there, or you make people's lives better and you may not know it. And that's a good message too.
That's true. Let me take a pause here for just 1 second, and we'll come right back. Pat asked talking about his brother being in the hospital, man. T's and P's, man. Thoughts and prayers. Sorry to hear that, Pat. Keep us informed what's going on there, brother. Do what you got to do. Take care of business, and I hope things kind of smooth out and work out for you, man. It's good. Soul Assassin, isn't this the film that Mr. Freeze is watching in Batman and Robin? Yeah, I think so.
Yes, it is, and ever since that movie, Victor Freeze plays this in his house on a loop all year round. Damn you, Joel Schumacher.
Yep.
Every time all the Batman villains have a, every time the Batman villains rotate their parties around, it's always at whenever Mr. Freeze's house comes around, they got to play this.
Slasher Fred's talking about being vaudeville feel. I think they both are, right? They're both, the songs are basically the same song. It's just mirrors of them with their personalities and stuff. So definitely feel like that. Definitely with the other characters with their waving their hats and their arms around, stuff like that. Phil TMT, Phil is here. Great to see you, Phil. Great to see you, brother. Yeah. Oh yeah. Joker's answering that question in chat as well. I live in Central. See the snow for the first years ago. It's a trip. Oh yeah, cool. Very cool.
Oh God.
Lots of love for SQUEEKA, of course. Yeah.
Actually, like 8 years ago, it snowed out here in Las Vegas for 2 weeks straight.
Whoa. Wow. I'm shocked we haven't had. I'm shocked we haven't had snow in Florida's Panhandle, because I'm in like northern central Florida, and we've had some like right at freezing temperature, frost on the ground, some ice. So I'm shocked that north of here we haven't had, but I guess there's just a lack of moisture. So we're supposed to get some rain tomorrow. So I don't know. Every now and again, every few years, they'll get rain rain and snow in the Panhandle, sleet or something, but nothing of any major thing gets south. But yeah, I don't know.
Well, just in time, it's supposed to freeze tonight, so I'm like, oh, what a coincidence. Yesterday it was like 82 here. Tonight it's going to freeze. I'm like, this is a perfect week for this movie.
Yeah, Last night out here in Vegas, we had an overnight low of 36.
Wow. Joker, for us, this is part of what I've tried to describe as event television for us.
Yes.
So when we were kids, I don't know how it was we were sort of introduced to it, but we were very attuned to the TV guide. You really, really knew what was going to be on when, and I attribute this mostly to Saturday morning cartoons, because you had to know what was on what channel. You had to learn how to interpret the 3 channels and how to ping to the shows, because everyone at school is talking about. You didn't want to miss Super Friends, but you know Scooby-Doo would be on and blah blah blah, right?
Laugh Olympics and all that fun stuff.
100%. And so part of that though came with these events, because these predate us. This is 1966, so this is before us even. So we've always grown up with this. We've always grown up with Frosty and Rudolph. These were shows, but they were on like once. This is not like cable era. This was not like, if you missed it on Thursday at 7 or 8, you were done. Yeah. You were left out. And I don't know. I don't know what how this goes. Maybe IRONCASTER, you and SQUEEKA can speak to this. Joker, you would feel pretty ostracized if you didn't watch it.
Oh yeah.
You were kind of left out of the club.
I mean, this is one of the, excuse me, in my opinion, one of the best Rankin Bass films. My personal favorite was Christmas in July. That one I never missed. Absolutely never missed. I would throw a tantrum, absolute tantrum, if I missed that one, because of all the Rankin Bass characters, Rudolph was my favorite of all of them.
Can you show us what that would look like?
No,
I'm just kidding.
So for me, this one probably is my favorite of the lot, and it's largely because of the Miser brothers. I mean, they are sort of the little stars of this one-off movie, and you know, sort of be the low man out here up in the north. It's like the Snow Miser was my boy.
You can keep him.
You're a heat miser, SQUEEKA?
Oh yes, if that temperature is 101, I'm happy as a clam. Yes,
amen to that.
But there's the sequel is called A Miser Brothers Christmas. So if this is if the Miser Brothers is what it's all about, the sequel, I'm not kidding, guys. It's a little newer, of course, and has not all of the same voice actors, but they did bring quite a few of them back. So it's a good time. The sequel is. This one is too.
Some point out the differences in the lyrics, talking about friends versus they. That's interesting. Indeed. And then Santa Claus Coming to Town has the song No More Toy Makers, the King's reprise song. The first time toy makers to the King. Yeah. Peter Bangman, once a year, man. It was once a year. Hey, Claude. How you doing, brother?
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but Rankin Bass also did films like The Little Drummer Boy and Nestor the Long-Eared Donkey as well.
Correct.
Okay.
Right.
Yes.
Yep.
Nestor
they have a long resume.
Nestor
is
great.
Mm-hmm.
Nestor was it made me cry.
They also did like a monster Halloween movie.
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah, our kids were raised. I mean, even Gumby and Davy Goliath was worked
Oh,
by
yeah.
Puppetoons. So there's tons of that kind of stuff that came along. So we were raised on some of this, and I passed that along to the kids who've done some of that. But these Christmas specials, especially, and I will say, like, I know you were talking about the sequel to this, Squeeko, for sure. But I mean, I remember even like the Easter Bunny ones. There's just like just certain ones, and it was like an event. It was a thing to do. But this one is just, I think what's interesting about this one is I think with Rudolph, well, first off, at Frosty, there's just not enough interesting characters. Frosty is very linear. It's about, the hat and Frosty. That's it, right? But this one, you end up with like a whole bunch of different characters who have little personality quirks and little arcs. And the brothers represent sort of like this massive hurdle for Mrs. Claus to have to get over. Meanwhile, Santa's having his own journey, which is interesting.
Right.
So maybe IRONCASTER is best. It's just actually a way more complicated one than most of the other Rankin Bass. Maybe that's part of the reasons of its appeal.
Well,
it's actually just much more mature.
But to interrupt real fast, it's not just Santa and Mrs. Claus. The whole world is having their own little journey at this time because they give Santa a holiday. And so then the kids are getting together and doing their thing. So there's like 3 different stories going on here.
Okay. Very true.
Well, and a lot of it plays up that the supernatural elements, because I mean they are like they are hot and cold, and we have Mother Nature getting involved. And the other ones we get like Father Time, we get wizards, and there's those magical elements that really make those characters stand out and just be that much more memorable. Like no one's gonna remember like the mom and dad, like these 3. You're almost not going to remember, except maybe the kid because he tags along. He's Bucktooth Dad.
But he believes in Santa Claus. He matters.
He does, but like Santa didn't bring him better teeth.
Wow. 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 That's harsh.
I went there.
Yeah, you went there, definitely.
Mickey Rooney, right? Again, is Santa. Is that correct? Right? He's.
I believe so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, weren't these also like have like a little intro where they had a character of the Bing Crosby as kind of like the narrator.
Yeah. Right. This has got a little intro like that, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Right, but for this one, it was Mrs. Claus doing the narration.
Okay.
Yeah, Mrs. Claus opens this one, right? Yeah.
Santa.
But yeah, I think Mickey Rooney, doesn't get credit because he has such an intensity in his voice, a gruffness in his voice, or whatever. And I don't know. There's something that I always thought that I'm not the massive Mickey Rooney fan or anything like that, but I always thought, even as a kid, I knew who Mickey Rooney was because of these roles. So I thought that was worth noting. What is the rabbit hole like for you, Squeeka, that you watch this? Do you ever really kind of went deep a little bit into the cast and the behind the scenes stuff or anything like that?
Nope, absolutely not. I just enjoy it a few times a year, especially at Christmas. I've been like with my daughter, like this was one of the lullabies I sang to her was the Heat Miser and Coal Miser song. Like, I mean, we watch it I think this is the first Christmas movie she ever watched. Like, it's just I just watch the movie to enjoy the movie. I just love it. I'm not a rabbit hole kind of person.
So I have a question for Squeeka and Iron. Since Pops and I are the same age, and this is something that we grew up with, and eventually it just kind of phased out of regular TV viewing. How did you guys get introduced to these films?
Oh, so I had cable as a kid, and when grandma would be watching TV and she saw this was coming on, like, oh, she's gonna show it to me, like, little IRONCASTER, like, let's go watch Rudolph, and that was just sort of the gateway to introduce me to all the other ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did you find?
This was my grandfather's favorite Rankin Bass. And
okay.
I've been exposed to this. I'm twice as old as Pop, so I've been exposed to this.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You are.
She wrote the book.
Well, I wasn't going to tell anybody that, Ironcaster. I don't want to take credit.
She's as old as this guy.
Yeah.
Saying she's a contemporary. She was just a biographer at the time, just taking it all in. I was going to go back to if I can find that picture of Jingle and Jangle sitting there, where they sort of like it's sort of like a modified Burgermeister head.
Yes.
It's a little bit.
Burgermeister.
And he kind of has the Winter Warlock little feel, a little bit.
Oh God, yes, the Winter Warlock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I always felt like, I don't know, why is it you guys think we connect to this stuff so well, even though they're like little wood puppets and stop motion and stuff like that? Why does it feel we're really bonded to these films and these stories?
Innocence. They're innocent. And I think that is at least for me, that's one of the biggest. That's the biggest thing. These are just completely wholesome. They're not outdated. You can play these at any time, and it just, especially at this time of year, it just makes you feel good.
Well, I'd say in addition to that, there's also a simplicity to it. They don't have, it's not a lot of high technology. I mean, this is still kind of based on like 60s toys. It goes back to a lot of these, classic, Christmas carols and a lot of elements of that where it's like, singing about Jack in the Boxes and balls and, little tin soldiers. There's a lot of simplicity to it, and it feels just timeless for that. That, it kind of brings us all back to sort of these simpler and kind of happier times of, childhood.
Well, I think, like Slasher Fred said, it also touches on things that we feel as adults, and you get that message as a child, and then as you grow older, that message continues. I mean, there's times you don't feel like doing things, or there's times you want to tell people how much they mean, so you all chip in and do something. There's times you want to, help your partner solve a problem. Like there's so many adult issues in here as well, that as you grow up with this movie, it still grows up with you.
Very good. Fred's a big fan of the stop motion for sure. With you there, my friend. All right, so this is a fun one, Soul Assassin. So I have the pleasure of one of the multitude of events that I was at. I was able to actually see a reindeer. So I'm pretty sure it was a Rudolph reindeer that had, not necessarily Rudolph, from the Rudolph show. I don't know which reindeer it was. There was an ear broken or whatever. But I was able to quickly pull this up because I remember seeing this. I think we talked about this when we did our other Talk Hard on Rankin Bass. There are a few of the puppets that do exist and kind of have their little homes. From people that are like the Uber fan circles and stuff like that. So if you search, where the Screen used puppets are, they're out there and who has them and where you can see them. This is out there. It's interesting. It is fascinating trying to follow the story of, where are they? So I know, look at a little 1979. Yeah, they let you see them, touch them back then. Like if you went to places, they go to different museums and stuff like that. And so this is Tinley Park at a book signing with Maury Lars, who did the songs. And there's Rick. He's like one of the Uber fans. Here they are working on them and doing the different stop motion work, schematics.
Wow.
Nice little Santa. So, yeah. Very interesting. This is one of the original ads we would have seen when we were kids.
Oh, yeah.
There's one of the sponsors ads. So they'd reprint these things for years. They really didn't change very much.
Nope.
It's not like now where you have new ads like every week, every day. It's like no one wants to recycle ads. We grew up in an era where they would just play the same Coca-Cola commercials. They would just every year. It was just and I don't understand why they stopped with that. Just like there's something about building the brand and the brainworms and songs and stuff. And yeah, here's Burl Ives and Holly Jolly there. Yeah, Johnny Marks. Yeah, different press photos. Here's a TV digest. So yeah, you just do the do a little googling. You can find some of these websites that have. Here's some of the heads. Look at the hair there. Look at the little. Yeah.
The Mrs. Claus with the curl in her hair, and then the Mrs. Claus
Yeah,
without. I
she's
always
got-
loved that they added her little
She's got the
curl
bun.
in.
Got her bun. Yeah.
Yep.
There's
Sadly,
Hermie and
sadly,
Rudolph, and there they.
sadly, one of the Santa Claus beards is starting to show some decay just due to the decades of time.
Yeah, I would assume this would require some serious restoration. To be honest, I mean, I've always said this is one of the kind of the best parts about one of the Toy Story movies where they have like when the Woody's stolen and they go to the dude that does all the restoration on him because I'm like, yeah, there's actually people that do that, so they can try to restore them but not ruin them and not try to take away from the authenticity. So yeah, there were people that would do that. So most of them are kind of behind glass, but if you go to shows and stuff like that, keep an eye out for that kind of thing. You never know. So let's see. Oh yeah, DJ Ron AG. We all love Ironcaster and his shenanigans. So
I would say that those puppets there are frankly up there as far as iconic, movie stuff with like the ruby slippers. Like they are some of the most iconic little elements of like film history because like they've become such a cornerstone of media that every year people are going to go back to these. You're going to have people going back to like the Hershey's Kisses commercial with like them doing the jingle bells. You're going to have not every Christmas commercial becomes that iconic, but some things do just manage to stick and work. And these versions of Santa Claus and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the Miser Brothers.
I was just going to say the for TV ads, the Coca-Cola, the Bears is in that category.
Agreed. I'm shocked that they haven't ended up in the Smithsonian. This seems like something that we would have agreed to protect and preserve forever, but I guess they're still out in the wild, at least for another generation. So we'll see how that kind of lands in the future. But I think you're right. This is the kind of thing that could go on tour, like a Darth Vader costume and, like a Battlestar Galactica Cylon and, DeLoreans and Knight Riders. Stuff like that.
Well, I wonder if at the time it's kind of like, us with kids' toys, we didn't realize how cool it would be in, 40, 50 years.
I know.
Well, they were oblivious to it at the time. Like I said, watching some of the different behind the scenes interviews and things like that, they said, look, we were just trying to make a good show. It had good ratings. We were happy. We were moving on to the next project kind of thing. They'd done their job. Maybe it was going to get picked up for a re-airing. They'd be thrilled because there's a few royalties that might come in. But no one expected this to become staples for every single year, the demand. And I think it's also because there were so many these creative teams and the amount of commitment they were doing to make something so good. Like we could talk about what happened with The Grinch. We can talk about Charlie Brown. We can talk about Rankin and Bass. This stuff, like we grew up as kids. So our generation had this incredible mythology of the holidays that were all built around all of it. All of it.
Yes.
From Halloween to Christmas, everything in between. It was crazy. So
true story.
Zax is here. Great to see you, Zax. Let's see. Gord. I think I said hi to Gord in case I didn't, Gord.
Gord was in here.
Let's see. Another classic Rankin band is the Stingiest Man in Town, musical version of Christmas Carol.
Right.
Indeed. Yes, on that box set. Indeed. Yeah. Oh yeah. Hey there. Seriously, doing stop motion was so for this era of Christmas movie. Yeah, it was just something really cool, man. It was awesome, man. So
the funny
ornaments,
thing is,
got
like,
the ornaments coming in. Yeah.
Ooh. So the funny thing is, we've seen other people go on to like the Rankin Bass holiday, Christmas, specials have become so iconic that like it kind of becomes newsworthy when other people go to recreate those. And like I think what Community did an episode where that was just a take on this.
Really?
I'm getting ready to drop a video I did on a Christmas movie. It's over on Netflix, and I don't think I really went into it too much, but I'm actually like at the point now where it's a pretty hard nut to crack to end up in the classic category, the repeat watch. I think that there's an elite group, like only of the modern stuff. I don't know that anything other than Elf has really cracked into like the elite category, right? So it's like Elf, Christmas Story, Christmas Vacation, and then you get into stuff usually that's older than that. There's not a ton that's in that massive, I mean, literally like this year was election day. It was a day after election day, and Christmas was trending on all the streaming apps. Every single person was like, I'm done. Start Christmas now. I don't care how bad it looks. And, so, but as much as we watch, go ahead.
And it's interesting you say that, because I would say maybe the Santa Claus with
Tim Allen. Disney hoards that one, so it doesn't tend to end up on the other services and on the trending list as much, because it's a Disney only thing. They don't license it out really.
And then they have,
you're
and
right,
then just the recent one that was released, Red One, is just should not have been made. It's just it's Christmas meets bad Marvel. So
yeah, I did a review on Red One, folks. It's garbage, just complete hot mess. I don't know. So Ronald's brought up the great DVD set. I think I have a link in the description of a few of those. One of those from Amazon. But if you guys don't have a link, head over there. Let me know. But yeah, that one's got Rudolph, A Shiny New Year, a Nestor, and more. So for sure.
I have that DVD too. Yay.
They use the same snowman narrator. They definitely use the same messaging. I don't know. Is that the same? Was that Burl Ives that did Elf? I don't know that he was he still with us for Elf?
I'm not sure.
I mean, I know it's Sam the Snowman. I've ever seen him talking Snowman. I don't know that he's actually Sam. But yeah, no, but the movie obviously clearly is playing on that tribute, that homage of those elves. I mean, Jon Favreau was very clear about all that. So yeah, Samuel L. Jackson does Sam. That's why. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, but Burl Ives, he's definitely inspired by Burl Ives.
And thank you,
Scott Westbrook, my brother. Wow, crazy. Cajun Corey, Melvin, Tim, Resolute Germ, and Nick Weiser, man. You guys are so generous. Scott, thank you so much. You guys are just so amazing. And be safe out there, brother. Working and driving around and stuff, man. Just world's crazy. So Squeaky, could you talk about watching this so many times a year? I don't mean to pry. How many times a year are we talking?
Whenever the mood strikes me.
Okay.
Three times? 4 times?
There's some years it's been that few, yeah.
Few. So wow. Okay. So
I confess there was one point that I think I watched this movie on repeat just because.
Okay. So and in an average year, could you give us the ballpark?
Maybe 4 or 5.
Okay.
So we're talking about once a week for the month of December?
I mean, you don't have to call me out like that. Okay.
You're among friends here. We're not really trying to shame you. We're just trying to gauge. So, for instance, in my house, there have been years where I've watched Christmas Story 4 times within the 6 weeks of between like Thanksgiving. I watched Christmas Story like 4 or 5 times. So it just depends. That's not every single year, but yeah, when you have favorites and you're just in the mood, Ironcaster talks about this all the time. There's like this foundational group of movies and songs are the same way with music that you go to, and it's like, I need to be cheered up, or I don't want to put in something heavy and I want to escape, or whatever those moods are. Yeah,
there's times I'll be cleaning and I'll see it on my DVD shelf and I'll be like, you know what, you and me, we're gonna have a sit down. Yeah, I mean, it just,
I'm like,
no rhyme or reason. Just sometimes I do it, and sometimes I'll watch it and then I'll watch it again the next day.
It's like you just gotta stop. You gotta go listen to the Miser's little henchmen like toot their little tiny horns.
Snorty's in the house. Hey, Snorty, how you doing, buddy? And yeah, Scott, great to see you. Great to have you with us. It's Merry Christmas to you, brother, for sure. Everybody's loving it. Yeah, Scott, we're all showing our love for the snow and heat misers, man. The Miser brothers are just Yeah, I want to give some love for the little guy. What are the little miser guys called? Do we have a nickname for? What are they called? Do you guys know?
I don't remember.
I would assume miserlings.
Okay, they are fantastic, and I will say this too. This is something that we at least try to do on Talk Hard, is to take a pause. Next time you watch it, just take a note of all of the little tiny movements. You know what I mean? Each how many frames? You got to take a frame shot. You got to move everybody. Take another shot. Move it, everybody. I mean, it's just it is part of the art and the craft. Yes, painstaking love that we all miss, and yeah, I can't get enough of it. I love it. I actually watched it again. So yeah, I can't throw shade at you, Squeakin', when I probably already watched this 3 times this last 4 weeks.
Nice.
Since early November.
But again, have you watched the sequel?
I have not watched the sequel because the grandkids are not here. So I try not to really watch this without these without the grandkids, but I have no shame. I mean, I'm not gonna like, oh, by the way, I'm watching it. Oh, don't look at me watch this kid. No, I'm not like that, but it just hasn't yeah.
I would say I've seen it once, but that was probably when it aired on TV, probably right around the time they made it. Because I want to say it was like in the mid 2000s.
I've probably seen this film at least 5 times, at least.
Yeah. Stop motion is a work for amazing animation. But yeah, it's really just such a lost art. Such a lost art.
And I remember, now that you mention this, I remember, not to go off on a tangent, but just the AT scene from Empire Strikes Back, and the watching them click, reposition down to the clamps on the feet, the guns being pushed out, every little detail, click, set it for the neck, click, and I'm like, and so that was for like what, a 10-minute scene, if that.
But even the bringing your Star Wars into my Christmas movie, you put that back. I'm just kidding.
It's gone. but it just shows just how much care and dedication and really attention to detail of these films that goes into it. I mean, you think, oh, it's just a kid's film. No, there's a lot of work that goes into these things.
And we can even show some love for like Harryhausen and stuff, right? Too, Ironcaster. I mean,
yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, it is an art style that deserves some respect just for the amount of effort it takes to make it look good.
Yes. Agreed.
Oh man, Scott, thanks for sharing. I got to watch this a few weeks ago with my 88-year-old dad and my 89-year-old mom. Oh, you warm my heart, Scott. That's the best, man. That's the best.
And then Phil had to bring in that one, and then Phil had to talk about that. He had to bring that in. Sorry, Squeak.
You know what, Phil? You know what? I know Joker's throwing some shade at you. I don't mind, brother. It's zany and silly and nuts, and I watch it every year. I totally admit it. I fast forward through some parts, totally get it, but it's part of our childhood too. It's completely terrible.
It's cringe. It hasn't aged well. Let's just say that.
Yeah. If you go to my channel, you put in holiday special, and you can watch Troy Pacelli and I do a deep dive.
Oh my God,
and that
was intense.
Like, what are they really saying here? And you're like, wait, I was way too young to get it, but your parents had to be like, what the hell are the kids watching right now? Like, this is not appropriate for these children. Yeah.
I was 7 when that came out.
Grandpa's just in the living room watching porn.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah, Chewbacca.
Itchy, lumpy, Mala.
I know.
Not that
Boba Fett began Soul Assassin. Good call. That's right.
Not that I remember those names at all.
I wanted to touch on I was trying to figure out where like some of my negatives are and letting SQUEEKA crush me. So I'm not a massive fan of Mother Nature. I don't totally love her designs stuff. I don't actually dislike her character. I just thought it wasn't something that I just love about this show or anything like that. So I don't know. I'm trying to come up with something I didn't like. I don't know what to say. It's not like it's a perfect show, but it's not like it's bad either. So I have nothing. I have nothing like, oh, this one part though. I don't really feel that way. I know you touched on Squeaky. You said some people have an issue with, and I'm like, I don't really have any issues.
No, I don't.
I liked her design better in the sequel. I'm with you. I'm kind of with you there. I wasn't too on board with her design. It's like they gave her this crazy old lady look, but she's supposed to be on top of everything. You know what I mean? Like it's like her image didn't kind of fit her personality. I liked it better a lot in the sequel. Her design better. But I mean, I kind of agree with you. But at the same time, I loved her crazy little bird hat.
Yes.
She quite literally has eggs in her.
Yeah, and then and then you get the Miser brothers. They're arguing back and forth, and she just clenches her fist and a thunderclap, and like, "Yes, Mom." It's like, oh, okay, because we all know the moms run the household. So,
but yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with you. I mean, I could crush you and cry and be up, but I'm not. I can't. I kind of agree. I'm not thrilled with her character design in this one. I liked it better in the sequel.
You ever stop to wonder like who the fathers of the Miser brothers are supposed to be, because they're both stepbrothers?
I never went that far.
Mother Nature has done some things. I don't think we need to get into the details on this show, Ironcaster.
I don't think so either.
So it's like, who would
she
be
got
the
them as
daddy?
gifts from Santa Claus. They're just presents.
Okay.
Their present. Oh, we actually got to be careful with how we describe that too. But all right. Yeah, Scott, I know. I don't go back and watch Donnie and Marie. I'm real. Trust me, Joker and I have talks privately sometimes where I'm like, "Hey, I watched this episode of Fantasy Island. You might not want to watch that one." You know,
probably not.
You
love both.
You watch some things and you go, "Ooh, the '70s did some things." Yeah,
they
there
did
were
some
some
things.
things. Yeah. So yeah, I'm with you, brother. I'm with you. So yeah.
Well, that's because the 70s was amazing with its exploratory television. They decided, you know what, we're tired of everything and we're going to break the mold on a lot of shows. And they did.
They did some things.
They were trying to push a lot of the envelopes too. And I think that's where some of that stuff came from. It's like, let's see if we can get away with this kind of thing. So Tabletop's here. Hey, brother. Great to see you, man. So yeah, Mother Nature, I guess, would be among... I guess, I got to have a negative. That's kind of where I'm at. And I will say some of the Santa stuff, him being ill kind of went on a little bit. Like it felt a little tedious, but I'm okay with all the journey. And so I have no real problems. And that is a big mother of a newspaper.
Right.
I loved some of the headlines in the newspaper. They're so funny. I didn't like the crotchety Dr. Elf at the beginning. I didn't like him either.
I like him.
Yeah.
Of course you do.
I love the cities, these little models and stuff. This is just beautiful.
Before we get too far, one thing that I kind of in revisiting for tonight here, like I completely forgot that Mrs. Claus had a song at the start of this, where she's singing about how she could be Santa.
Oh yeah, that's right. She did.
I'm sitting up like, I don't remember this. It's apparently that forgettable to me.
Huh. Okay. No, I mean, I've watched this too many times, I guess. I will say she's just, I don't know, there's something about her just makes just so sweet or something. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know how would you describe it, Squeeka?
She's like everybody's favorite grandma, in my opinion.
She's the grandma who's gonna like tell you about all the little secrets that she would like get away with
while baking you cookies.
Yes.
It'd be even bigger than that. She would like bring you pie. You're like, Ironcaster can't have sweets. He was sick. We're kind of has to be on a diet. Grandma shows up with a whole pie. A whole pie. It'd be something very extreme that only a grandma could do.
And it's your favorite pie too.
Yeah, it's your favorite pie.
Favorite.
Chocolate or apple.
Yeah, chocolate pie, apple pie, huh? All right.
Cherry
Noted.
Island pie.
Noted. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Tabletops was on with Ryan, getting traction for 2020. Yeah, man. Get out there and have some fun,
Nice.
man. Shirley Booth. Yeah. She'll always be Hazel. I know, Scott, but we're old. We're old enough to remember. Hazel doesn't have any traction. Like, I don't know how to explain the show Hazel to folks, and it just did not. I don't know. People don't even know what Hazel is, so I'm going to try to pull that up real quick.
I don't even remember that.
I think I watched it when I was like 74.
What it was a rerun on. It's a little show. Pull this up real quick so you guys can at least see the image. Maybe it'll ring a bell. Title for Hazel.
Don't remember it.
It's from the 60s. It would have just been on reruns for us. So it was on. I remember seeing it sometimes with, like, the Dick Van Dyke rotation. All those shows.
Yeah.
It's on those type of rotations with those shows. Like, it was just it was just part of that rotation, and she was the star of that. So yeah.
I just look at like the lettering and everything, and that kind of reminds me of the Munsters, which is what I was more watching. So
yeah.
I love their little costumes too. They're so feel good. Like, all of their little suits and dresses and stuff, except for the lady with the hand warmer that's a cat. That's not very feel good. But the rest of it, really nice.
All right, so let's touch briefly on, because I have not watched this in a minute. And I'm not saying I don't want to watch it. I just don't think I have watched it. All right. Squeak, walk us through the sequel, Miser Brothers Christmas, a little bit.
Okay. It's a sequel, and it's really great.
Okay.
You said really quick.
Me. I mean,
the in-depth review.
It's a family reunion, right? Isn't it a family reunion?
Not exactly. So it starts off with, Santa's getting ready for Christmas as usual. There's a new sleigh maker, and they're making a new sleigh. He takes it out for a test drive. The villain in this one is the North Wind. He wants to be Santa Claus because he wants everybody to adore him. Like, he wants to do away with all of the North Pole and just have him be the guy that gets all the recognition. So he sabotages the sleigh, and they think it's the Miser brothers fighting. So Mother Nature makes them clean up the mess, and it goes through, them learning that brotherhood's a good thing, and they start getting along, and then they figure out why they're on the naughty and nice list, and they figure it out it's the North Wind, and and then Christmas is saved. They save Santa, save Christmas, and they become better.
So the
brothers.
Miser brothers are sort of like falsely accused in this because they're not really behind the shenanigans of derailing Santa's problems. And all sorts of other characters are kind of brought in. So
yeah, there is a family reunion in it, which is really cool, between Mother Nature and the rest of the Dominions, I guess. Like, the tidal waves are there, thunder and lightning, earthquake, and so if you liked that little bit of that particular element of Mother Nature and her kin, it is kind of cool to see them embodied as puppets, especially like the tidal waves and things. That's a really cool, neat part. They have like a family meeting to talk about the state of the earth or whatever. And there's a little more backstory about why the Miser brothers don't like each other, and a little more of just their kind of personalities and their infighting, rather than just the two songs in the original one.
All right.
And the North Wind has swanky hair.
Swanky.
He does. His hair is a creation all on its own.
Like, seriously, they got it. Holy crap! They have him molded after like Jay Leno. Look at that chin.
Look at that chin. My gosh.
You should see his hair when he gets angry. It turns into this like octopus hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got all of his own swag, and like this is his dream, is to be the one that is turned to, and he's ready to go.
It's an uber lesson about narcissism. It's just like, it's a massive, it's really, and it's kind of a precursor to what, maybe it's around the same time. I don't know the timeline on this one, because the Santa Claus movies ended up with that horrible one with Martin Short, who basically is Jack Frost, who wants to be So it's very a similar sort of like, you know, a snow guy in case the wind guy, he just wants to take over for sand and that kind of
Which.
And it does do the Heat Miser, Snow Miser song again, but it just does it in the factory, which is kind of cool.
Which the Rankin Bass Jack Frost film is quite good too.
And here's our version of Mrs. Claus in the sequel, a little different design for sure.
Yeah.
I don't like the redesign for Mrs. Claus.
I don't like the Mrs. Claus redesign either, but I do like the Mother Nature redesign.
Yeah, she looks more like an actual flower, but she looks so young. It doesn't quite work for me. Like I'm sort kind of caught in the middle of like I kind of want an amalgam of both together. Like the older lady, but with more of the flowery, natural sort of feel, I think would have worked better for me. But yeah,
this Mother Nature looks like she's got more of an attitude.
Oh yeah,
like she's got a blog. She needs to get updated, and and if you don't give her positive praise on it, she's gonna give you negative Yelp score reviews.
And she's she's missing.
Here's his hair.
And she can't miss
That's when he gets angry.
And she can't miss happy hour with her friends.
I think it's further back, but there's the part where it shows all of the people at the table.
Yeah, I was looking to see if it was in this footage or not. I didn't think it was. It's not the full movie. It's just different cut scenes and like almost like a trailer. Look at this crazy dance sequence.
Oh yeah, funny. Where he does his "I'm gonna be in charge" song.
You can tell this is this is 2008. So obviously a lot different than the 1960s feel for sure. Yeah. I mean, this is his song.
Oh no!
Oh man, it's spinning on me. Yeah, so they didn't do quite the 3D animation like they did with the typical Miser songs for his song. So, yeah, but it's out there. It's interesting. I don't.
Yeah,
I'd have to disagree, Squeak, as far as being as good, but it's not terrible or anything. So.
It's not as good, but it does give you more of that Miser brother feel. It's definitely not as good. If the Year Without a Santa Claus is 10 out of 10, this one maybe is like 7.5. The sequel's 7.5, but it's still a good sequel in my opinion.
Sacks. Santa Incorporated in your top 10.
About.
Yeah, so Seth Rogen and what's her first name? Silverman's first name? I don't remember. Anyway, Sarah Silverman. They did this little animated thing called Santa Inc. And it just starts. There's so much cursing and nonsense in just the first 5 to 10 minutes. I'm like, I was out. I never watched more than that. And then, of course, it went through our YouTube circles for like 3 days of how bad it was. So I never watched it again.
Yeah. So let's see. So in my top 10, it would probably rank 500, maybe.
That high?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but thank you, Zach. 25 months, man, brother. You've been with me from the get-go. Completely insane. You've been hanging with me. Appreciate you. Love you, man. Captain Vandenberg, 3 months. Throw me out a heart and some love. Thank you, Cap. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. You guys can hit those emojis, hit those member chat comments and stuff. I appreciate it. It's awesome so much. Yeah, no, I don't. It's funny what's timeless and not. And I thought maybe in the last half of this episode we could kind of like throw out some other things because there's so many that are like. I had this category of like Midland. It's kind of like we talked about last week with Jingle All the Way. Jingle All the Way can just be on. It's got some moments, but it's like that Midland movie. I want your guys' thoughts on like.
I haven't
go ahead.
watched it either.
Never seen it.
Same.
Oh, you never watched it?
Nope.
You're missing like 3 scenes is what you're missing. Couple memes and you'll be good.
Oh, so nothing then. Okay, good.
Well, Phil Hartman's fantastic, but he's only like, he's like the foil, right? So a couple scenes and yeah. So
I know that's the one we watched last week, right? Yes. That's the Schwarzenegger one. Oh, I forgot the title. Is that the one we watched last week?
Yeah, we can show him the one scene. Here you go. You go one scene.
Oh, Howard, excuse me, but your wife's cookies are out of this world.
Who told you can eat my cookies?
Oh, these cookies! I gotta get the recipe from Les.
Put that cookie down! Now!
There you go.
Put
It's all
that
downhill
cookie
from
down.
I mean,
with the cookie
I
down.
mean,
Yeah.
I mean, Phil Hartman is just such a loss and just a genius, absolute genius.
If Smarmy was personified, it would be Phil Hartman.
Yes.
It wouldn't be you.
Oh, that hurts.
Yes, man.
You know,
Squeeka's kind of all over today. I can tell you right now, folks.
If
Just
I
keep
had
your
a
dukes-
heart, that would hurt.
That's what I say all the time. If I had a heart,
Yeah, tabletop, we get you, man. We talked about Jingle All the Way last week. It's got some moments. Yeah, we talked about it last week. Phil Hartman was good in Small Soldiers as well. Yeah. So let me ask you guys. Okay, what about Fred Claus? Have any of you seen Fred Claus? That's the one with Vince Vaughn and Paul Giamatti is the Santa. Fred Claus is like the Exchange Brothers, a criminal.
I think I watched that once, maybe.
Yeah, it's got some slapsticky couple musical sequences. Again, similar to me as Jingle All the Way. Like it's Midland, maybe a little more than Midland because I think it's got heart, it's got a message. But and we will watch it every year, but it's not classic. It's not like I expect everyone to watch it or anything like that. So I just want to know what you guys thought.
I don't remember it enough to actually. Now,
Okay.
I was going to ask, what about?
I haven't watched
it. What about Scrooged?
Before we leave that, what did you say, Squeak? I'm sorry.
I haven't seen it.
Okay, Ironcaster.
Fred Claus, I think I've seen a couple scenes of. Like it might have been coming on, and I have caught it. It was like I just basically caught it on like FX. It's fine. There's kind of some fun stuff, especially at the end with them like doing the Christmas deliveries.
Yeah, couple scenes, couple moments. It's just that Midland, maybe that kind of category. So okay, what were you going to throw out there, Joker?
Scrooged.
That's where I was going next. Yes, perfect choice. Yeah, Scrooged. Bill Murray and Scrooged. Before Joker and I weigh in, because it came out during sort of our Nexus era. So, Ironcaster, have you seen Scrooged? Bill Murray Christmas Story one.
I have not.
Ooh, Squeeka.
Nope. Negative, Captain.
Bill Murray. That's all I have to say.
Ironcaster, if you can make a note to put Scrooged on our 2025 Christmas month list, that'll be great for next year. So it came out when Joker and I are in our prime time movie era watching. So for us, I'm assuming Joker, you agree. You love Scrooged. You watch it all the time. It's yeah.
I've watched it enough times. And Bill Murray. That's all you need. I mean, that's your start and stop right there. He's fantastic.
Yeah, it's just another Christmas Carol interpretation. It's a Bill Murray vanity project for its time. Like if you didn't live through that era, we'll probably have to explain to you who the solid gold dancers are to get that gag, and you may have to, there's tons
Wow,
of
that sounds like something I want to be a part of.
Oh yeah,
solid gold dancers, solid gold soul.
All I can say is you can see that nipple right there. We can see that nipple right there. All right, Phil. Enjoyed Fred
take
Claus.
it back. I don't want to be
Granted,
a part of that.
don't remember what happens in that film. I know it's just one of those that's fun. We put it on, we watch it every year, and it's just another one of those. It's just on. I don't have to like watch it, but I've seen it enough times now where so it's serviceable, but it doesn't move into a classic category or anything like that. So I know. Great, man. What kind of I know it's so great. I know it's so good stuff. Great references. Thank you guys. All right, so let me think about another one that would be in that category. What about any of the rom-coms? I think one of the for me, rom-coms just never land. And our favorite rom-com at Christmas isn't really a Christmas one. It's called Serendipity. It kind of begins and ends at Christmas, but it's not really Christmas. I would count it as fringe Christmas using the category. Joker will be on with me on Friday. We'll recap our how do you categorize Christmas movies ones. It's not really a Christmas movie, but it's enough. But most Christmas rom-com stuff, I don't think we've ever connected really. I don't know if we've really watched any of the ones that would be listed, like Love Actually or something like that. We're watching that.
Now, if I hear,
I've actually seen that.
Now, if I hear of a rom-com as a Christmas film, I think of Hallmark. That's where I go, and I'm just like, nope. I have no desire. You've already lost me.
Squeaky, you mentioned recently how you had seen Home Alone and had such a great time watching Home Alone. Is that one that you have watched again?
I haven't watched it again this season yet. I watched it for the first time last Christmas. But it is on my radar to watch again for sure. I just haven't gotten to it yet.
Cool.
I love that movie. That was so much fun the first time I watched it. Oh my gosh, that movie was hilarious.
I wish I could be in the room and watch your reactions when you watch Violent Night next week. I don't even know what to say. So you're going to get a dose of Home Alone, Die Hard with Santa next week because we're doing Violent Night, and it's completely nuts. Yeah, Scott, if you've never seen it, let me know what you think. If you haven't watched it in a while, let me know what you think. So it's just one of those. It's just like a pleasant watch for us. It's like it kind of got a slow build up, but a couple scenes and silliness, yeah, that kind of thing. So let's see. Atari was unique. I'm not sure what DJ Ronnie is talking about with Atari. Love Violent Night. I know Tabletop. I just watched it today because I'm getting ahead on my Talk Hard next week because I love Violent Night. Thought it was great. I already watched it. Yeah, I know.
I believe it.
IRONCASTER, weren't you with me? Didn't we watch Fat Man? The Monkey one?
We've covered it.
Yeah, I didn't know if you. I couldn't remember if you watched it or not. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, because we were kind of talking about how like the little kid is kind of Ben Shapiro-esque, only to then discover that actually the performance was inspired by him.
Yeah, they definitely went for that for sure. Yeah, Phil, I there's really only two Home Alone movies for me, and really only one. I don't really watch even the second one, even though I don't mind watching the second one. But it's never the second. The kids never even asked for it. They've only seen the first one. So sorry, DG you even got a little nerdier for me. I couldn't even keep up to what DG Ronnie G was talking about there. So sorry about that. Yeah, Violent Night is one of the favorite David Harbors. Okay, yeah. Didn't like Hellboy. He's not the problem in Hellboy. The movie's just freaking dog crap. So yeah, he's not the problem.
The new one, the last new one.
The last new one.
The David Harbour one. He wasn't the problem with that movie. The movie's the problem. The last one was at least better of a movie, but still. It was just a bad choice for the film, in my opinion. So all right. Yeah.
Okay, so don't be mad at me for asking this, but Hellboy's the red guy with the cut off horns, right?
Correct.
Okay.
100%.
Very good. Good job, SQUEEKA.
She gets a cool star.
Yay!
Yeah. So, SQUEEKA, what else is in like the regular rotation for Christmas? Obviously, something like this you have no problem watching multiple times, but there's got to be 2 or 3 other things, surely. So, what is there?
Well, I mean, Home Alone is in the rotation now.
Okay.
I have a friend that tries to rope me into the riff tracks of the Star Wars Christmas show.
It's worth it.
Every year.
Come on, SQUEEKA.
So I've seen it. They just try to do it to me every year. We do this one. Sometimes we'll pop in some other Rankin Bass ones. There's a Tinkerbell one set around Christmas time that sometimes we have nostalgia for that we'll watch. But we don't really have like a whole bunch of movie watching. If we sit down and watch something, it's usually something like crazy, like Criminal Minds or something. Like or Epic the Musical. I mean, we're not really like thematic watchers per se. But
Gotcha.
But yeah,
Okay.
it's mostly just the stop motion animation ones. We like I said, Home Alone and Home Alone 2 is in rotation, and yeah, just if we feel like anything else, kind of.
Okay. Phil, I can't get there with you. I just understand why people can tolerate the Star Wars holiday special now in hindsight. I get it. I can just feel the like Mystery Science Theater element of watching that now as the best approach versus like trying to pretend that the sequel trilogy is good. Like it's just that to me is the best way to watch. It's like when when Ironcaster is over there trying to pitch another to-be shark movie, I have to decide how many
You're that
minutes
guy,
of my life
aren't you?
do I want. How many minutes of my life do I want to riff tracks another shark something?
Look, the
of
movie isn't going to
something?
watch itself.
Maybe it
I'm
should.
not doing. Don't even. Because I know. I'm just trying to cut. No, we're not doing Santa Shark. No, we're not doing Santa Jaws. We're not doing no.
Well,
Just
I'm just trying to answer the simple question of where does he wear the hat?
you should do a whole video. I'm telling you, you are the shark
you really
master.
should.
I mean, literally, Squeeka just said we need to have a shark miser song. I'm ready to like figure out how do we make that work. So yeah.
You mean to
we'll
tell me
definitely
you don't you mean to tell me you don't want to watch Shark and Saw Prison Massacre or Ice Spiders?
No. Dear Lord help. She sighed like she'd go along with
I
it.
want to watch
want-
Ice Spiders.
Yes. I need to introduce you, Iron. I need to introduce you to my friend Samael, the infamous, one of his favorite films, because he loves Tubi as well, is Velocipaster. So he would be right up your alley.
I don't want to watch them.
Just by that reaction.
I don't want to watch them, but I want to watch you guys talking about them. How's that? That's my feeling. So
I think we should do the Shark Miser song, but all of your little minions, your little shark minions, should have the hats in different places.
some on
That's
top,
just my
some
personal
dorsal
opinion.
fin, some carrying them
Exactly.
around even maybe.
Yeah, he's spinning them on one fin, spinning them on the other fin. I think that's what you should do.
So I know what you're going to ask next. And it's, do I have any classics that are in my rotation?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
And so there's of course all the obvious classic ones. I've got to get my Rankin Bass in. I've got, which is actually one I will get to in a moment. So we'll put a pin in that. But typically for me, it's some of some of those little throwback commercials. Like there is the Spike TV Star Wars Christmas commercial they put out, where they got the 501st to all come out and start singing a take on "You Better Watch Out."
Really?
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. It's on YouTube. It's like a minute long.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely worth watching. It was just like this fun little bumper they put out just for like, hey, Spike TV has Star Wars, so come watch those, and we'll have the 501st doing some silly dances. But the one I do want to highlight briefly was a Rankin Bass film that was an adaptation of the L. Frank Baum classic, The Life and Adventure of Santa Claus. And yes, I had to go grab my copy.
Okay.
Yeah, which the comic version here, just beautiful artwork. Here, I'll take a moment to try and highlight this.
Wow, that is very
It's beautiful. I love how they went black and white, but only kept a little bit of red for the suit and the hair. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
I love the fact that you kept the snowing effect on while you show off the book. Even add some
Yes.
more layers of intensity to it all.
And also, we'll show off. It's got some like demons and orcs and other kind of monsters in there too.
Okay.
But it is ultimately a story about like how Santa Claus ultimately becomes what he is. And as I said, there is a Rankin Bass stop motion version of it that is out there.
Oh, very cool.
Here you go. I've got a little bit of a photo for you from it.
Okay.
And there's old man Santa Claus.
Oh wow, that
right.
kind of looks like Christopher Lee.
I feel like I've seen this back in the day. Definitely
This one for sure does.
Yeah, they didn't. This one never got quite as much circulation as all the bigger ones, but it is out there. And this one did get air a few times. This one I caught.
Very cool.
I'm literally looking at this a little more intensely to figure out when I've seen this. And I'm pretty sure we've talked about this before because this is from the 80s, right?
Yep, I believe 85.
Oh wow!
I know it's Rankin Bass, and I know I've seen it because there's elves in it, right? Aren't there actual elves?
Yep.
Fairies or something, maybe? I don't know. Hang on. It looks like Tinkerbell. It's like a little. I'm trying to pull up pictures, and my computer is just not happy that we're sharing so much screen space and whatever. So I'm having a hard time finding it. Here we go. There we go. I found it. Nope, wrong button.
Which, by the way, I should also point out, the original author of the story was the same man who created The Wizard of Oz, Frank Baum.
Okay, I do remember seeing that.
Yeah, I've watched this. I know I have.
Yes, I have too. Wow. This is going back.
I feel like I dated that guy once upon a time.
Weird.
There is also
I know that kid.
There is also a more traditionally animated version of this as well out there. So there's
cool.
kind of two versions of the same.
That is beautiful.
I love them.
Okay, I do remember this. I just don't. Wow, this is.
Man, that box is horrible marketing.
Yeah, it is.
Man, that is terrible. That is terrible marketing for all of this.
Right?
You know what I mean? That is horrible marketing.
Well,
that
even
is
like
totally Christopher Lee. That is so cool.
Well, I mean,
Right?
even like the idea that you would think that like if they're going to advertise it as being Santa Claus, that like maybe we should put like a more iconic Santa Claus on the box cover.
Even if they'd used the old Santa with the other characters sort of in the background, it would have showcased the dynamic elements of the different characters way better than that box cover. That box cover is weak. That's terrible.
Agreed.
I'm going to look this up. Life and Adventures.
It reminds me of Dark Crystal.
It's got a little bit of that Rankin Bass meets Dark Crystal feel for sure, especially that Christopher Lee inspired wizard looking character.
Right?
Well, and the way the fairy pixie looks reminds me of the Gelflings.
Yeah, that's really, really good.
But despite all the fantastical and strange, it shows the potential of a true power of a figurehead such as Santa Claus. It is the power of giving and compassion for your fellow mortals. In the special's final scene, he's met with Ack outside the house. And it's just kind of giving you a little history of this. It's basically the movies and the special, the comic, are ultimately tell you about the life of this man who was so giving to the world. And how these supernatural forces and spirits come to recognize that.
Oh,
how
that's good stuff.
And kind of the ultimate payoff of like how a man like that is still around to this day.
Gotcha.
Joker, what about you, brother? You got a list of some favorites and some regular go-tos that you could talk about real briefly?
Well, see, Christmas to me, because of the jobs I've had, I've worked on Christmas for pretty much my entire adult life. So Christmas has become just a day to me. And that's sad to say, but I do love the Rankin Bass films. As Pops and I were talking earlier, up until a few years ago, I had a Christmas Eve tradition where I would watch a Star Wars film. That has now been replaced by a Lord of the Rings. And in December, I do watch the two absolute staples, or should be staples, of Christmas films. That is Shazam and Batman No Returns. So
we're going to talk about that on Friday. He's going to be my guest for my Friday morning Popscast, and we will be talking some Batman Christmas shenanigans and continuing our what is a Christmas movie, what do people watch, and that kind of thing. Go ahead, IRONCASTER. What were we going to jump in about?
No, I didn't have anything. I mean, just like it's funny how Batman Returns is just. There's been a growing consensus of people all like starting to repeat that and starting to recognize that as a Christmas movie.
It is a Christmas movie. The opening line.
Yeah, I mean, I think that
of the
one
film
is
Merry Christmas.
it is even less fringe Christmas than Gremlins. Like it's I mean, literally it ends with Bruce and Alfred having this Merry Christmas exchange. Like there is something there that's a backdrop of the story and the journey that really does fit, even though it's not Christmas for Christmas sake, which is kind of what a lot of these other movies that we're talking about are. But no, I think this is it's been a fun time, and it's been great to try to highlight and talk about Rankin Bass.
Yes,
we put the whole set in. The kids pretty much, and again, I think I said this last week, but I'll continue to say, when you give your little kids sort of like the litmus test of what the next generation want to watch. Free reign. Here you go. Here's my massive library of stuff, guys. What do you want to watch? And they chose Animated Grinch, Rudolph. They chose this. There's one Disney short. It's called Prep and Landing. So it's like it wasn't like they were really radical or weird. They weren't picking new stuff or anything like that. It was pretty traditional, and that's kind of where they stay in their lane. Obviously, went down to the other Rudolph movie, the sequel, the Frosty. It's just that's what they wanted to watch. So this stuff it's timeless for that group too, which is so refreshing to see and to know. So indeed.
Definitely.
Let's see. We're getting close here. SQUEEKA, where you gonna be on with Roman again this week?
Again, I wasn't with him last week, but yeah, I'll be on with him this week if he still lets me in. He invited me in, but sometimes you just look at your panel and you think that's too much crazy for me to handle.
Well, I mean,
yes.
Well, SQUEEKA, you were there last week. You just weren't on the panel.
Yes, I'm everywhere you don't want me to be.
Well, we're happy that you're here. Just wanted to give you a chance to plug anywhere else that you're planning on being or what else you're going to be doing. Anything else going on in the Mouse House?
Yeah, I'll be with Roman on Thursday, and then after that, Beard and I do 7 Days to Die together on Thursday nights, pretty late. And then I don't know if I'm doing anything this weekend. It's a pretty busy weekend. And then I'll be back here on Tuesday for Violent Night. Maybe I'll record some of my reactions just for you.
Ooh.
Oh man, I tell you what, she's been such a blessing, and I know I don't even share with IRONCASTER and LOKI, but every now and again she gives me a little behind the scenes photo. So I got a behind the scenes photo of the Mouse Miser, the Snow Mouser, if you will. She literally is loving life with a big grin and smile on. It made my day. I've looked at that photo like 3 or 4 times. So, Pat is giving us a little heads up that things are going well. The brother turned out to only be dehydrated. They will have observation, keep him overnight, prayers for thank you, and just everything. So, and he dropped the link there for IRONCASTER. We'll go to next, brother. Mech Monday, man. Let's see. What was it about make sure you check and then get mech'd or something like that? I forgot how you guys did it last night. It was so good. I was like, yeah.
I might have to go back and watch because sometimes
it's the very end of the show, and I'm like, I should have wrote it down.
Oh, how'd you like that little clip at the very end there? By the way,
I'm loving it, man. I'm loving it. I'm like the mech show's growing, man. It's doing good. I like it.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Just kind of try to find my little corner to kind of let out a lot more of the stuff that I'm kind of feeling and enjoying. So trying to put that out in the world, try to stay on that positive side, and you never know what we'll find.
Well, that's 99% of it is finding what you enjoy doing and just, doing that. Put your times and talent and treasures behind it and just letting the chips fall they may and have a good time with this little experience that we call the YouTubes. And, Joker, I know you've done that because you've switched gears a lot, walking away from a lot of, beating the same old drum and going, you know what? I love wrestling. I'm all in. And it is, that stuff's blowing up like crazy, man. So it's good. Talk about what's been going on.
Yeah, so tomorrow morning I will be dropping a video. Usually December is a dead month in the world of professional wrestling, but WWE has got stuff just keeps on rolling as they roll into 2025 with their deal with Netflix. Over the next 10 years, WWE is getting $5 billion from Netflix. And I have a show Wednesday night right down here. Wednesday night is overbooked. Myself, Left Eye Ego, Matt the Unbearable 73, and Duke Devil 95. And then I'll be back. I'll be back with Roman on Thursday with Miss Mouse, talking about whatever. I think it's just a chill stream, so Roman's gonna have a ton of topics to talk about. And then I'll be back here with this gentleman on Friday for another little pop talk. So, and yeah, just rolling on around. I as Pop said, I kind of got tired of doing the same genre thing that everyone else was doing. Wrestling is a part of pop culture and entertainment, so I just did a complete shift. So, and I've been enjoying it ever since. It never gets dull.
Indeed. That's the best part, when you can do something and you're just having fun with it. You kind of can keep rolling, and you don't get worn out from it, for sure. So,
true story.
The Dusty Rhodes voice, maybe he could, maybe
my head a little too big, maybe my hiney a little too big. But if you reach out, I can touch. It's the hard times. Hard times will make us feel better. Stronger men make hard times come from. It was a classic promo that he did.
Impromptu Dusty Rhodes. I like it.
Yeah,
I like it. Well, folks, we'll be back next week, Violent Night, to talk about our Christmas shenanigans continuing. Loki should be back with us then. We'll be able to touch base and get his take on a completely insane movie. So if you've never seen that, feel free to give it a run. Die Hard meets Home Alone with Santa. It is shenanigans afoot, and it's a good time. So with that, folks, talk hard. Be blessed. Till next time, I am Pops.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious.